Who would have thought an ordinary fish seller from a small village will become a billionaire's wife? In a busy city of Lagos, there was a young man named Chike. Chike was very rich. He lived an extravagant lifestyle in his big house full with shining cars in his car lot. But even though he had everything, Chike was not happy. He often sat by his big windows, looking out at the city light, feeling very lonely. Chike wanted something that money couldn't buy. He wanted someone who would love him for being himself, not because he was very rich. He tried to find that kind of love, but all to no avail. 6 months back, he met a beautiful lady named Vanessa at a club. Vanessa was a stripper. Chike could not stop staring at her. It was love at first sight, as he thought he could win her to become the love of his life. After a performance, he sent a waiter with a message, "Join me for a drink." Vanessa knew his type, rich men with too much money and little excitement. She slid into the seat across from him, crossing her legs slowly. "I'm Chike," he introduced himself smoothly. "Vanessa," she replied, offering a sultry smile. They talked, flirted, and an hour later he whispered, "Come to my place." Vanessa hesitated, pretending to consider. Then she leaned in and whispered in his ear, "Lead the way." Chike House was a palace, marble floors, crystal chandeliers, and walls lined with expensive art. He poured them drink, his fingers brushing against hers. The chemistry was instant. They kissed, touched, and soon passion took over. By the time Chike fell asleep, Vanessa lay beside him, her mind racing. She wasn't just a dancer, she was a survivor. She had learned earlier that the world didn't favor women like her. And when the opportunity knocked, she answered. Slipping out of the bed, she moved through the shadows. She had noticed him earlier, putting a wad of cash in a drawer. Carefully, she opened it and grabbed the thick bundle of $100 and ran away without any trace. So many more of ladies he met that he thought their relationship would lead to marriage. Since then, he's been struggling to find true love. He met many women, but each time he felt like they were only interested in his money. They liked to visit fancy restaurants and ride in his shining cars, but none of them seems to care about Chike's feelings or who he really was. All they were after is his money. One evening, Chike visited his best friend Emeka. Emeka had known Chike since they were little boys. He knew how much Chike longed for true love. They sat together, drinking palm wine, and then Chike poured out his mind, how sad he was and how he's been unable to find true love. But he wished he could find a woman who likes him even if he had nothing. Emeka scratched his head and thought for a moment. "Maybe you're looking at the wrong place, Chike. Who knows? Your dream girl might be in the village. City girls here, they like big things, big houses, big cars, and big money. And 60% of these girls here are not ready for marriage, but for the love of money. So, Chike, if you don't mind, I would suggest you should try the village. Go back to Umuoma. Disguise by trying to live simple and see if you would find someone there." Chike's eyes lit up with smiles on his face. Emeka, that's so thoughtful of you." So the following month, Chike packed his bags. He left behind all his fancy clothes, expensive watches, and even his slicks of cars. Instead, he wore simple clothes and took a bus to Umuoma. It was a long, bumpy ride, but Chike didn't mind. He felt hopeful for the first time in a long while. When he reached Umuoma, he went to his late uncle's old house. It was small and dusty, with cracky windows and a tattered roof. But Chike liked it. It made him feel free. He swept the floor, dusted the window, and made the little house his new home. No one in the village knew he was rich, and he liked it that way. The next morning, Chike walked to the village market. He had little money in his pocket, just enough to buy some food. That was when he saw Ada. Ada was a cheerful young woman who sold fish at the market. She had a big smile, and her laugh was as bright as the sun. Ada stood behind a wooden table, calling out to people who passed by, "Come and buy my fresh fish. They are best in the village." Chike watched her for a while, then walked up to her store. He looked at her fish, trying to decide which one to buy. "Good morning," Ada greeted him warmly. "Are you new here? I don't think I've seen you around here before." Chike nodded. "Yes, I just moved back. My name is Chike." Ada smiled. "Nice to meet you, Chike. I'm Ada. This fish here is fresh from the river. I will give you a good price." Chike checked his pocket and realized he didn't have enough money. He scratched his head and said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have enough money with me." Ada's smile didn't fade. She picked a small fish from her table and wrapped it up. "It's okay. You can pay me later." Chike was surprised. The next morning, Chike woke up early. He couldn't stop thinking about Ada's kind smile. Then made his way back to the market. He wanted to pay her for the fish and maybe get to know her better. On getting to the market, Ada was already there, arranging her fish on a wooden table. She saw Chike coming and waved at him. "Good morning, Chike. How was the fish?" "It was delicious," Chike said. "I brought the money I owed you." He handed her the money, but Ada refused to collect the money. "You don't have to pay me, Chike. I was happy to help." She put back the money into his hand. "Use it to buy some bread instead. Yesterday is gone." Chike couldn't believe it. No one had ever been so generous to him without expecting anything in return. He decided to stay and help Ada with her fish in the store that day. He helped her arrange the fish, and together they called out to the people passing by, trying to sell as much as they could. As the sun rose higher in the sky, Ada shared stories about her life. She told Chike about how she had grown up in the village and how she had taken over her late father's fish business to support her family, but still dream of opening a small shop one day, a place where she can sell more than just the fish. Chike admires Ada's hope and determination. "I'm sure you open that shop someday." Chike, realizing how different Ada's life was from his own. Ada laughed. "Thank you, Chike. You're a good person. Not many people will come to help me for nothing." They walked side by side until that afternoon, and when it was time to pack, Chike helped Ada to carry her basket back to her small home near the river. She invited him for lunch, and they ate a simple meal of rice and fish. Chike felt warm inside. He liked the way Ada welcomed him, and I think he has found a place where he belonged. From that day on, Chike visited Ada at the market every morning. He helped her with her fish store, and she taught him how to bargain with the customers. They spent their afternoon by the riverside, washing clothes and chatting about their dreams. Chike told Ada about his wish to find true love, though he didn't mention his wealth. "I just want someone who likes me for who I am, not for what I have." Ada nodded in understanding. "That's a good dream, Chike. Everyone deserves to be loved for who they are." Chike felt his heart swell when she said that. He started to care deeply for Ada. He liked how she was always cheerful, even when things were hard. He liked how she cared for her younger siblings, making sure they went to school. But most of all, he liked that she treated him like an ordinary person, not someone special because of money. One evening, after a long day at the market, Chike and Ada sat by the river watching the sunset. Ada said, looking at the river, "When I'm here, I can dream of better days." Chike looked at her and felt a warmth in his heart. He wanted to tell her how he felt, but he was so scared. He didn't want to ruin their friendship. And when he was still hiding the truth from her, he wasn't the poor man she thought he was. As the day passed, Chike and Ada bond grew stronger. The other villagers began to notice how close they were. People teased Ada, saying that she and Chike were a good match for each other. Ada just laughed and brushed it off, but sometimes Chike noticed her cheek turning red. One afternoon, as they sat under the mango tree, Chike finally gathered the courage to ask her, "Ada, would you like to take a walk with me tonight? There's something I want to tell you." Ada smiled. "Surely? Of course, I will. I will meet you by the river." That evening, Chike waited by the river, feeling nervous. He thought about telling Ada the truth, that he was actually a rich man from the city, just pretending to be poor. He hoped that she wouldn't be angry with him. But before he could say anything, a gossiping neighbor named Mama Ngozi overheard Chike talking on the phone with Emeka. She heard him mention his real life in Lagos and she couldn't wait to spread the news. She ran straight to Ada's house and told her everything. Ada, that Chike you've been spending time with is not who he says he is. He's actually a rich man from the city. Mama Ngozi said, a voice full of excitement. He's been lying to you this whole time. Ada felt her heart dropped. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. She had trusted Chike and now she found that he's been lying to her all along. She felt a mix of anger and sadness. She decided to confront Chike that night. Ada walked quickly to the river where Chike was waiting with a small gift in his hand. When she arrived, she didn't smile or greet him like he usually do. Instead, she looked at him with hurt in her eyes. Is it true, Chike? Are you really rich? Have you been lying to me this whole time? Chike's face fell. He knew that Mama Ngozi must have told her. He took a deep breath and nodded. Yes, Ada, it's true. I'm sorry. I came here because I wanted to find someone who would love me for who I am, not because of my money. But I should have told you the truth sooner. Ada felt tears welling up in her eyes. You made me think you were just like me, that we were the same. How could you lie to me, Chike? Chike reached out to her, but Ada stepped back. Please, just leave me alone, Chike. I don't care about your money. I care about you, but I don't know if I can trust you anymore. Chike watched as Ada walked away, disappearing into the night. He felt his heart break, knowing that he had hurt the only person who would have ever made him feel truly happy. Chike felt lost and empty as he walked down back to the small house that had become his home. He knew he had already made a mistake and he couldn't stop thinking about the pain in Ada's eyes. He sat down on the wooden bench outside the house and buried his face in his hands. He wished he could turn back the hand of be honest with Ada from the start. The next day, the villagers whispered as Chike walked by. They had heard the rumors too, and now everyone knew that he wasn't who he had pretended to be. Chike didn't care about their gossip. All he cared about was Ada. Then he decided to call his friend Emeka and told him what had happened. Emeka then said, you need to apologize, Chike. Go to Ada and tell her how much she means to you. She needs to know that your feelings for her were real. Chike should give up without trying to make things right. He sat down and wrote a letter to Ada, pouring out his heart. He told her how lonely he felt in Lagos, how much he had enjoyed every moment with her in the village, and how sorry he was for hiding the truth. He also told her that he loved her not because she was simple, but because she was kind and honest. After writing the letter, Chike went to Ada's house. He didn't know if she would even want to see him, so he slipped the letter under the door and left quietly. Then he returned to his uncle's house and waited, hoping that Ada would read the words and understand how much he cared. Ada found the letter the next day. She picked it up, feeling unsure about whether she should read it or not. But curiosity and the memories of their friendship made her open the envelope. As she read Chike's words, tears filled her eyes. She saw how much Chike had struggled to find true love, and she realized that maybe he had made a mistake, but his feelings were real. Ada spent the whole day thinking about the letter. She remembered the way Chike helped her at the market, the songs they had sung together at the river, and the dreams they had shared. She missed the jokes and the kind words, but she also felt hurt by the lie, and she wasn't sure if she could trust him again. The next morning, Ada picked up her phone and called Chike's friend Emeka. She wanted to know more about Chike's life in Lagos. Emeka welcomed her warmly and told her everything she needs to know. He spoke about Chike's loneliness, his desire for true love, and how much he had talked about Ada. Emeka showed Ada pictures of Chike's big house and fancy cars, but he also told her that none of those things had made Chike happy. Ada listened quietly, and by the time Emeka finished, she understood why Chike had felt the need to hide his true identity. She realized that maybe he wasn't a bad person, just someone who had made a mistake while trying to find love. That evening, Ada walked to Chike's uncle's house. Chike was sitting outside, staring up at the sky, thinking about all the things he wished he had done differently. When he saw Ada coming down the path, his heart skipped like a beat. He quickly stood up, unsure of what to say to Ada. As she looked at him, her face serious but gentle. I read your letter, Chike, and I talked to Emeka. Chike took a deep breath, preparing himself for the worst. Ada, I am sorry. I never wanted to hurt you. I just. But before he could finish, Ada held up her hand. Let me speak, Chike. I forgive you, but only because I believe that you're truly sorry. I know you came here to find real love, but you made a mistake by not being honest. If we are to continue being friends, or maybe more, we have to start all over again with no more secret. Chike's eyes filled with hope. I promise, Ada, no more secret. I will always be honest with you no matter what. Ada gave him a small smile. Then let's start over as friends. Chike nodded eagerly. He was grateful just to have a second chance, even if it meant starting from the beginning. He reached out his hand and Ada shook it firmly, sealing the new promise. In the days that followed, Chike and Ada spent time together again, but this time things were different. They talked openly about everything, and Ada no longer felt like Chike was hiding something from her. She saw the effort he made to show her that he valued their friendship, and slowly her heart began to heal. Chike felt lighter now that he had no longer secret to pretend. He shared stories about his life in Lagos and Ada listened with interest. She teased him about being a city boy trying to live a village life, and they both laughed together just like before. One sunny afternoon, Chike took Ada to his favorite spot by the river, the place where he had once planned to tell her the truth. They sat together on a grassy bank, watching the water flow. I know things can't be the same as they were before, Chike said, but I hope you can see that my feelings for you were always real. Ada looked at him, her expression thoughtful. I know, Chike, and I care about you too, but it will take time for me to trust you fully again. Chike nodded, understanding. He was willing to wait for as long as it took. He was just happy that Ada had given him another chance. As time passed, Chike and Ada's friendship blossomed again. They walked together at the market, sang songs by the river, and shared stories about their dreams. Slowly, Ada's smiles returned, and Chike knew that he was earning back her trust little by little. One day, Chike decided to take a big step. He invited Ada to visit Lagos with him. He wanted to show her the life he had left behind, and he wanted her to see that even with all his riches, he was the most important part of his life. Ada agreed, and they took a bus back to the city. When they arrived at Chike's big house, Ada couldn't believe her eyes. She had never seen such a grand palace before. With shiny floors, big windows, and cars. But as she walked through the house, she noticed something else, Chike's face. He didn't look proud or happy as he showed her around. He looked nervous, like he was afraid she would think differently of him now that she had known the truth. Ada touched Chike's hand and smiled. Thank you for showing me your home, Chike. It's beautiful, but it doesn't change how I feel about you. I still think you are a simple man who helped me at the market and shared meals with me by the river. Chike's eyes filled with relief, and he realized that he had finally found the love he had been searching for. Ada liked him for who he was, not because of his big house or fancy things. After their visit to Lagos, Ada and Chike returned to the village. Ada appreciated seeing the other side of Chike's life, but she felt more at ease in the village. Chike too found comfort in being back among the friendly villagers and peaceful river, most of all in Ada's company. Now their bond was stronger than ever. Chike continued to help Ada at the market, but he also began to think of ways he could support her dream of opening a small shop. He wanted to use his resources resources to make our dream come true, but he knew he needed to approach it the right way. One evening, after a busy day at the market, Chike and Ada sat together under the same mango tree where they had their first talked about their dreams. The sunset painted the sky in shade of pink and gold. Ada, Chike began, I know you've always wanted to open a shop where you could sell more than just the fish. I want to help you with that. Ada turned to him in surprise. Really? Wow. Chike, I appreciate your kindness, but I can't accept such a big gift from you. It wouldn't feel right. Chike smiling gently. I'm not offering you a gift, Ada. I want to be your partner. Let's open a big cool room, or should I call it a fish mat? You handle the business, and I'll provide the support you need to get it started. Ada looked at him, trying to understand. But why, Chike? Why would you do this for me? Chike took his hand in his voice sincere. Because you believe in me when no one else did, Ada. You showed me kindness when I had nothing. And because of that, Ada, I care about you deeply. I want to see you happy. Ada felt tears prick at her eyes. She had never imagined that anyone would care so much about her dreams. She nodded slowly, a shy smile spreading across her face. Thank you, Chike. I will be honored to have you as my partner. With their decision made, Chike and Ada began to plan their new business. They worked together, designing the shop and choosing a location near the market square. The villagers, who had once been suspicious of them, began to admire their decision and their dream. In few months, the shop was already open. It was a beautiful protein shop designed with a colorful signs that read Ada's Fresh Mart. Inside, Ada sold not only fish but also fresh meat, prawns, chicken, and more. Chike helped her stock the freezer and greet customers, and soon the shop became a favorite in the village. Ada couldn't believe how much her life has changed. She saw the joy in her customers' face as they shopped, and she felt a deep sense of pride knowing that she had built something special with Chike's support. She also had noticed how much happier Chike seemed and how the weight he used to carry on his shoulder has lightened. One evening, after a busy day at the shop, Ada and Chike walked to the river, their favorite spot. They sat together on the grassy bank, watching the moonlight dance on the water. Chike turned to Ada, his expression serious and hopeful. Ada, there's something I've been wanting to say for a very long time. You are the most special person I've ever met. You've changed my life in ways I never thought possible, and I love you. Ada's heart skipped a beat. She looked into Chike's eyes and saw the sincerity there. She knew that he wasn't just saying these words, he truly meant it. Tears filled Ada's eyes, and she smiled softly. I love you too, Chike, not because of your money or your fancy life in Lagos, but because of the kindness and how caring you are. Chike's heart swelled with joy, and he took Ada's hands in his, and we promised each other to be together and to build a future where love came first. A few months later, the whole villagers gathered together to celebrate Ada and Chike's wedding. The market square was decorated with colorful clothes, and the air was filled with the joyful sound of drums and singing. Ada wore a beautiful white dress that her mother had sewn, and Chike wore a traditional outfit. As they held hands and looked into each other's eyes, they knew that they had found something more valuable than gold and riches. They had found a love that was true and pure. After the wedding, they returned to their new life together. Chike split his time between helping Ada with the shop and overseeing some of his business in Lagos, while Ada continued to make the shop a welcoming place for the villagers. Their love grew deeper with each passing day, built on trust and friendship and the dreams they had shared. Chike's heart felt full every time he saw Ada smile. And Ada knew that she had found a partner who truly understands her. They face challenges together, celebrate small victories, and support each other through every step. Years passed, and their little shop grew into a well-known market store that people from nearby village came to visit. They welcomed their first child, a baby boy with bright eyes and a curious smile, and they named him after Chike's father. The villagers often spoke of their story, how a city man had come to the village searching for true love and found it in the heart of a humble fish seller. It became a tale that parents told their children, a reminder that love doesn't come from money. or appearances, but from kindness and understanding. And so, Chike and Ada lived happily together, building a life filled with love, laughter, and simple joys. Every evening, they still walked to the river hand in hand, watching the sunset and remembering how far they had come. As they sat by the river, Chike would often whisper, "I am so glad I found you, Ada." And Ada would smile and reply, "You didn't just find me, Chike, you found your heart."